What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this episode of the Chop Block Sports Talk internet show, radio internet. Yeah. I am joined, obviously, by my two partners in crime, Jay Blaze and Miami Jay. How's it going today, guys?
Doing good, man. Enjoying the day off, finally.
Oh, yeah, very good. How was you guys this weekend? Listen, this was the first official week of NFL football. We are going to get into all of that. Had an epic game last night and the night before last. Listen, are you guys glad football is back? I know I am.
I think everybody is. What I'll say about the weekend is I had a bad weekend. The Dolphins got destroyed.
Oh, boy.
And we'll talk about the U.S. soccer debacle later. I'm hoping the old adage is true that week one is a liar. So I hope that's the case.
Hey, I hit 3 teasers. I'm feeling pretty good.
I said I had 3 teasers. I'm good. I had a good week. Didn't matter. Dude, the score didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Bro, I did a parlay, right? I picked every single freaking game.
Oh, no.
I'm not joking. I bet $1 I would have won 7,000.
What?
The Patriots lost it for me. Every other game hit.
See, that was a revenge game. The Raiders hate him.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah. They hate New England. Wow. We had good. Man, dude, Miami J.
I hit a 9 or 10 team teaser or parlay once.
Dude, I gotta start sports gambling, man. I've never I lived in Vegas for almost 9 years. I know everything about sports. I've just never.
The thing about sports gambling, to really enjoy it and not feel pressure, you got to know how to bet small and win big.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you sit there and you're putting even amounts of money on one game or another, and you're just kind of grinding it out, that's when you're going to get stressed out, and that's when you're going to start chasing everything, and that's when you're going to lose a ton of money. Me, I put in $100 at the beginning of the season, and I make small $2, $3, $4 bets that can win $100, $200.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I don't always hit them. Obviously, not even close.
Sure, but you're only out $100.
Sometimes. Yeah, I'm only out $100, and I hit one in 1 week. I'm up $300. I would have been if the Patriots had decided to show up. I would have been up 7,000.
Woo-wee!
If I'm going to watch a game that I don't really care about, I'm going to put $20 on it, and then I suddenly care about it.
You know what? It's interesting. I know that a lot of sports gambling addicts always say, "Well, it started off. The reason why I was placing bets was to make the games interesting." That's sort of the beginning of every gambling addicts. But look, man. I don't know, man. I'm dude. I remember back in the day, I used to watch the Royals and the Tigers in July when they were both bad because I'm just one of those retarded sports fans. But Royals Tigers in July would be a little bit more exciting if I had a little action on it. So I don't know, man. I might do something this weekend. Dude, my kid brother has been fucking pressuring me. He's like, Eddie, you got to do it. You got to do it. I'm like, nah, bro. Now, this is back when my family used to call me Eddie. I go by Alex now. But he's like, Eddie, you got to do it. You got to do it. So I'm like, yeah. So anyway, who knows? Maybe that'll be another project of mine. Maybe if I actually get good at this, maybe I can have a professional sports betting podcast because those are all the rage now.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Listen, man, I monetized I got my black belt in women. I managed to set myself for life with that. Who knows? Maybe I can supplement my my life's work with a little bit of moonlight sports betting. At any rate, so Miami J, you had a bad week. Not as bad a week as Russell Wilson had. The Giants they didn't get really dump trucked, and I think we all expected the Commanders to handle them fairly easily. Me personally, I thought the Giants would have a better showing because of that defensive line. Brian Burns, the newly drafted Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, dude, they are stacked from top to bottom. Unfortunately, Andrew Thomas, their Pro Bowl left tackle, didn't play again. Russell Wilson was back there running for his life. He had a couple of turnovers. He had a turnover late. Let me start off with you, Miami J. And listen, I like Russell Wilson, and I'll admit, I'm a little bit biased because he is black and I'm black, but I bought into the whole let Russ cook thing. But is it time, in your opinion, to let Jaxson Dart take over as the starting quarterback of the New York Giants?
Is it time? I don't know. I'll give him a couple more games, maybe. But the Giants looked on offense. They looked all out of sorts, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they put up a touchdown, actually.
No,
I was watching the red zone most of the day, and I don't remember seeing the Giants come up on offense. So,
what? Are you serious?
I don't remember it.
Oh wow! Holy
like I said, maybe they did, and they kicked a couple of field goals. But I mean, I think Jaxson Dart's going to be installed as a starter well before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that I agree. Jay Blaze, what are your thoughts on that?
So we have never seen a player go from Hall of Fame, like lockdown first ballot Hall of Famer, to jobber, and that is Russell Wilson.
Jesus.
And I would say put Jaxson in because, but their line is terrible. So you're putting him out to the wolves. So have Russ take the hits, have your line get a little better, and then put Jaxson in. But idea. The problem is, D-Ball is on his 4th year. He needs to make the playoffs to keep his job.
Yes.
And you need Jaxson Dart for that, because if the only way to keep his job is if Jaxson Dart looks good and the offense is clicking, then D-Ball might keep his job even without going to the playoffs. Because that's his guy.
I agree. I actually agree with both of you. Me personally, I would have started Jaxson Dart week 1, because to me, the best thing for a rookie to get better at football is to play football. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you're absolutely right. That offensive line is horrible. However, at this stage in his career, Russ probably moves better than most starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Jaxson Dart still moves better than Russ. So even if you put Dart back there with that questionable offensive line, at least he has the ability to sort of run around. And I've heard comps. I've heard that his comp is he's like a poor man's Josh Allen. Remember Josh Allen when he came into the league? Every mobile quarterback that comes into the league, they survive with their legs. Russell Wilson did it. Lamar Jackson did it. Jalen Hurts did it. Michael Vick did it. Everybody, John Elway did it. Steve Young did it. They all run to sort of get used to things. But at some point, you've got to be able to become a pocket passer. Well, Jaxson Dart is a rookie, and no one expects him to just be just sitting back there and just throwing darts, no pun intended, all day long as a rookie. No one expects this guy to be Jaden Daniels, but by the same token, I believe that Jaxson Dart represents the Giants' best chance to win.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. I mean, I guess Russell has built up some equity that he can come into a new organization and, demand to be the starter, I guess. But honestly, I don't probably think he performed Dart in preseason either. So
Jaxson Dart outperformed Russ in the preseason.
Yeah, exactly.
He outperformed him, and so I just don't understand why they won't start him.
Maybe it's the name recognition, equity that he might have built up during his career. Maybe it's that. I don't know, but I think week 3, week 4, we're seeing Jaxson Dart take the snaps.
Because no one likes Russell Wilson. Dude, his old players don't like him.
Oh, God.
Like, he's not like a locker room leader, probably. And so I think he's just there to take punishment and get Jackson's some film study some more. And I think
the blind to iron out the
weeks, we'll see Jaxson.
I think Russell Wilson, look, this guy, he needs to find next year. I don't think this is going to happen with New York. Find himself a good situation, have a respectable season, and take the Andrew Luck route and retire early.
Man.
Find a new high and then be done. You might still have a shot at the Hall of Fame.
Look, if Russ finds another team and he takes another team to the playoffs 2, maybe 3 years in a row, and he has good seasons, he's not going to be a lock for the Hall of Fame. He's probably a 3rd or a 4th ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But if Russ can have a couple, 2, maybe 3 more good seasons like he had in Seattle, solid running game, solid defense, and listen, man, he's not gonna cost you a lot. What's he making with the Giants this year? $1 million? Like, he's not making any money. I'm
gonna say this: the problem with Russell Wilson is going to be the problem with Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams. Dude, they are not rhythm quarterbacks. Dude, these offensive coordinators want the ball out right then. Like the elite offensive coordinators, they don't do that. They just run around like a chicken with their head cut off, and they expect to just like go instinct. That's not how the NFL's run anymore.
No, it's not. And I think repetition creates instinct. And I heard Ray Lewis, I think Ray Lewis said it best. I think it was before Super Bowl 35. He said the reason why our defense is so good is because we don't just think. The reason we play fast is because we're not thinking, we're just reacting. Tom Brady doesn't think when he was out there at a certain point, year 5, year 6 in 2007, when they had that super year, he wasn't thinking, he was just reacting. Randy Moss. Yeah, it all just came together. At this point, if Russell Wilson is not if he's not a rhythm passer at this stage in his career, he probably never will be. Bill George says, "Oh, Russ is making $10 million this season. 1 million, 10 million. The point is he's not going to cost you. He's not going to cost you a lot against the salary cap." Bill George also says Wilson has problems seeing the middle of the field. Do you guys agree with that? That's interesting. I've never really thought.
Yeah, I mean, he's like 5'9". Yeah, he's not the tallest guy in the world.
Well, neither was Drew Brees, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
See, when Russ was at his best, he would bootleg to the right or left, and pass it. That's where he's at his best, but he's not. He's not as fast as he was, so he can't do that.
Right. No. He's faster than most starting quarterbacks in the NFL, but like I said, he does not have the mobility. I don't think he has the mobility. I think Jaxson Dart, the only thing Russ has an advantage over Jaxson Dart is experience. And if you start Jaxson, I mean, I don't know, man. Like my eyeballs are telling me that Dart is the better quarterback. That's all there is to it. I would start Jack, and I agree with you too, Jay Blaze. I think the Giants are probably thinking to themselves, okay, we're gonna put Russ in there. We're gonna let him take all the hits. And Russ he's not a statue back there. He can move around a little, right? He can still run, naked bootlegs and all that good stuff. But I think what the plan for Daboll is let the offensive line iron get all the kinks ironed out. Wait for Andrew Thomas to get back. I agree with Miami J. I think Dart's going to be in there by Thanksgiving because in the end, Brian Daboll wants to keep his job. Dude, this guy took Daniel Jones to the playoffs. And a lot of people are say that he's responsible for Josh Allen being the quarterback that he is because he was the quarterback coach in Buffalo when Josh Allen was a rookie year 2, year 3. So it's not like Daboll doesn't know what he's doing. He turned Josh Allen into who he is today. Daniel Jones appears to be having a career resurgence. Listen, the jury is still out on that. So it's not like Daboll doesn't know what he's doing. But I think what he needs to do is and it's hard for him to do. He's got to stop listening to Joe Schoen. I think Joe Schoen is going to be up out of there. He probably should have been fired. Joe Schoen is their general manager. Joe Schoen probably should have been fired the minute Saquon Barkley signed with the Eagles. They decided to keep them both. I think you keep Daboll. I think you fire Schoen because I think right now, I think Daboll wants Dart to play, but I think Joe Schoen's like, no, I think we want to hold him back. That's just me speculating.
I can't disagree.
Okay, very good. Let us go to our next topic. And again, we have we're going to try to make this a 1-hour show because folks got places to go and people to see. Boy. So last Thursday night, we had the infamous Spitgate, where Jalen Carter was summarily dismissed and ejected from the game 6 seconds into the 2025 NFL season. Listen, we all, myself included, berated Jalen Carter. How could he spit on Dak Prescott? Then we saw the replay, and we saw that Dak Prescott actually started this thing. Now, my take is I'm not mad at Dak. You gotta, and Jalen, he's a young player. Obviously, and the reason why he fell to the Eagles is because he had that accident in Georgia that killed a couple of people. So a lot of teams wanted to stay away from him. And so I don't know if this went through Dak Prescott's mind, but Dak Prescott, I think, had the presence of mind. He probably said, you know what? Number 98 in green is who we are game planning around. Let me just try something and see if I can get into this guy's head. I think Dak just wanted to get into his head, and Dak overshot his mark and actually ended up getting this guy ejected. And you saw after Dak spit in the direction of Jalen Carter, you saw him shake his head and smile. And people are mad at that. I'm not mad at Dak because if I was him, I would do the same goddamn thing. Man, think if I wasn't Jared Goff, I wouldn't try to get Micah Parsons ejected or something like that. So I'm not mad at this, at least because the Eagles ended up winning the game. Jay Blaze, what are your thoughts on Spitgate?
I think Jalen Carter is an incredibly dumb person. And the problem with they needed a big Don for Jalen Carter. They needed a buddy to just say, keep him out of trouble. Because Dak took advantage of an incredibly dumb person.
He did. Yes, he did. What are your thoughts, Miami J?
I can't disagree. I hate it when, and this happens in all sports, when an athlete overreacts to a situation.
Oh my God.
Dak may have spit on him or near him or toward him first, but your reaction to whatever the issue was is never justified when it's that bad.
Right.
I mean, you see it in every sport. You see it every year. Is he getting suspended? I think he is, right?
They said that he might be. I know Nick Wright definitely wants him suspended because we go to Kansas City on Sunday afternoon. I think we're going to win that game by. I think we're going to win that game by at least 3 touchdowns. I'm calling a blowout on that one. But yeah, Pro Special says Jalen Carter is a great player, but he is also a nigga. Absolutely. King Life is in the house, says, oh, snap. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 says, I came to say, basically, what Donovan just said about Jaxson Dart. Until the Giants get their O-line sorted, let Russ start.
Yeah.
Pro Special says, without football, Carter would be on the hard R. Yeah, he probably would. But, I mean, he is 6'6", almost 300 pounds. And a lot of people are calling him probably one of the – they're calling him the best defensive lineman in football, probably one of the best since the great Aaron Donald. He's got to get that impulse and emotional control under control, because he very well could have cost the Eagles that football game, which probably would have had playoff implications down the road. Now, let me ask one more question before we go to the next topic. Do you think it warrants a suspicion, just given and maybe, I guess me being unbiased? If I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I definitely want him suspended. I'm an Eagles fan, so I don't. But if I'm a Packer fan or a Lions fan, I really don't care. I really don't care one way or the other. So do you think, Miami J, he should be suspended for what happened?
I'm a Dolphins fan, and I couldn't care less one way or the other. Should he be? I don't know. Probably. I mean, I don't
know, maybe. Who knows?
It's the overreaction for me that keeps us in the news cycle, which it shouldn't be. I mean, that's the thing. At that point, you become a distraction. If I'm the GM of the Eagles, I'm suspending him.
Okay, all right. And if you're the GM of the Eagles, whatever decision you make, hashtag in Howie we trust. Like, we trust how. Like, dude, Howie is our new god. Whatever he decides to do, we're like, you know what? I'm sure he has his reasons. It's worked out pretty good so far.
I want Stephen Ross to somehow trade for Howie Roseman, because Jim Greer's a pain in my ass.
Dude, Greer he's bad.
He's the one that gave us a dude from Chicago, Adam Gase, then Brian Flores, and now this guy.
Well, Brian Flores is actually he's actually kind of on a career resurgence there with Minnesota. You remember the Dolphins Hard Knocks? Tua came out and said, when you're berated and this and that and the third, it's kind of nice to have a guy like Mike McDaniel come in and say, hey, you're the guy, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. Brian Flores, that one and only year with the Dolphins, I think they started like 4-5. They won 7 of 8 games. Brian Flores had that defense and special teams humming, but he is a defensive guy, so he didn't really know how to handle the offense. I do think, but now that we're in year 3 with Mike McDaniel, now we're starting to see, okay, maybe Brian Flores, in terms of his process, maybe there's a reason he handled this team the way he handled, just given their struggles now.
We're just dejected after week 1, and we're really hoping that week 1 is a liar. So that's all I'll say about the Dolphins today.
That was really bad.
I think Brian Flores would probably get another head coaching job if he didn't sue the NFL.
I think so too. I think Brian Flores is definitely going to get a head coaching job, and if he does, he needs to keep an eye out for an offensive coordinator, because again, and listen, we saw how Minnesota adjusted to Chicago last night. Yes, he was aided by Caleb Williams. But I think it's clear. I think Brian Flores was probably one of the better defensive coordinators in the league. His name was being floated around for head coaching positions last year. That's probably going to amplify this year. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I think that Brian Flores will probably get a head coaching job before Mike McDaniel. Go ahead.
Yeah, the problem with defensive coordinators.
Say again.
The problem with defensive head coaches, you need an offensive coordinator, but if they do too good a job, they're going to get a head coaching job. And then
there you go.
How can I do this? Because look at what's happened to the Eagles, or what happened to the Eagles a couple of years ago, and what happened to the Lions this year. Like they lost Ben Johnson. Jared Goff was awful.
Jesus Christ, dude! Oh my God! I'm gonna tell you what, man. And the thing is the Eagles, dude. Our roster was so stacked. It covered up all of the deficiencies left behind by Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon, who got head coaching jobs after we made Super Bowl 57. We got to 10 and I think we got to 10-1. Then we got curb stomped by the 49ers, which we had it coming. And then after that, the wheels just fell off. Had we had our coordinators, we probably could have stymied that loss. But listen, we made the playoffs as the 5 seed, but that was all bad. I think the Lions are definitely going to go through a regression. Not only are they missing their two best, and I don't know. For my money, I thought that Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, they were probably the best offensive and defensive coordinator tandem in the league. Unless you're talking, I don't know, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh. I don't know, but they were definitely one of the better tandems in the league for sure.
Yeah.
All right, now to everybody's favorite subject, the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, we asked this question last year. Is the dynasty over? I think people, look, man, I think people not only I don't think they have Chiefs fatigue, but I think what's going on with all of these predictions is they're not watching the games. All they're doing is listening to the mystique. I told you guys, the Kansas City Chiefs, they are not winning this division. The Kansas City Chiefs are not going to beat the LA Chargers down in Brazil. They looked absolutely awful. In my opinion, the dynasty is absolutely over. Travis Kelce's gone after this year. You know, it's getting older. They're going to have to revamp and reload. Listen, maybe they go on a run when Rashee Rice gets back. They still have Isaiah Pacheco, who's one of my favorite running backs in the league, of course, in Kareem Hunt. But I am starting to think I might just move my position here. I think the Kansas City Chiefs might actually miss the playoffs this season, because think about this. They've been to the last 4 or 5 Super Bowls. That is 19 and 20 games every year. How can you tell a team that has won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls, been to 5 of the last 6, all gas, no brakes, we got to go. Guys are human. Look, Travis Kelce's on his way out. He's getting married to Taylor Swift. Patrick Mahomes just had like his 3rd or 4th daughter. Andy Reid's not getting any younger. And listen, man, this absolutely was a dynasty, but nothing lasts forever. So Miami J, is the Kansas City dynasty over? Yes or no, and why?
Unequivocally, yes. Okay. And you just said it. All you had to do was watch the game. This game was on where I work pretty much, all of Sunday. And all I saw was, screens, draws, and Patrick Mahomes overthrowing everybody.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I saw from the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes overthrew like 3 receivers on 3 straight plays.
That was
cool. You never see that. No. And I don't know if it's the timing or these receivers that he has right now with that Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy are not fast enough. I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but I'm not sure they can fix it. And coming off of let's call it a down year last year already, I think this is one of the cases where week 1 was not a liar. I don't think they're making the playoffs either.
Wow. Okay. Jay Blaze, what are your thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs? Is the dynasty over? Yes or no, and why?
I think it's over because, dude, Xavier Worthy, Kelce took him out, and they had no one to blow the top off. And the only way they could even get like a shot of adrenaline to their team is if Tyreek Hill gets traded to the Chiefs.
I swear to God, Jay Blaze, that is literally what I was thinking just now. I was thinking to myself, if it all goes sideways in Miami, they're probably going to have a fire sale, right? Why not trade Tyreek Hill back to Kansas City? Because he really is one receiver that can really, and this is why we know Patrick Mahomes has this unbelievable arm, is because he can throw the ball as high and as far as he wants. Tyreek can just run right under it and take it in for the touchdown. And Tyreek won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Miami J, what are your thoughts about trading Tyreek Hill to the Kansas City Chiefs? And if they do, what do you think they should get for compensation for him?
Well, if the Dolphins are as bad as week 1, showed us, I think Tyreek Hill's going to be demanding a trade by week 3 or 4.
Ooh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I love trading him to Kansas City. What can we get back for him at this point? I don't know. Give me Kareem Hunt and the number 3 pick. I'll take that.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Mm-hmm. That's fair. And, go ahead, Blaze.
I will say, not only did Justin Herbert beat the Chiefs, he's also dating Madison Beer, who's way hotter than Taylor Swift, and she's like 26. So he's winning on all sides.
Yeah. Don DeMarco to Justin Herbert. He is definitely winning. Michael Lee wants to know, Donovan, are you going? It's a very late Don DeMarco. Michael Lee says, Donovan, are you going to the next year's MLB All-Star Game in Philadelphia next year?
Yep.
Oh, yes. Oh, most definitely. I've never been to an All-Star game. I've been to almost every Major League Baseball park. Never been to an All-Star game. The All-Star game is in Philadelphia, and I hope Major League Baseball makes it July the 4th, which is the country's 250th birthday, the original capital of the United States, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That is going to be a party. Pro Special actually makes a very good point. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miami J.
I was going to say, well, we're on the topic of attending sporting events. If anybody's planning on, or thinking about going to the World Cup next summer,
yes,
sign up today at FIFA.com/tickets, because the first chance to enter the lottery happens tomorrow at 11 a.m. And you're going to want to get the cheap tickets while they're there, because it sounds like they're going to be pretty expensive.
Okay, very good. I'm doing that right now as we speak. I'm going to be doing multitasking because I'm definitely going there. All right. This is a very good comment, actually. Pro Special says, trade Tyreek immediately before he gets suspended for domestic violence. What, dude? So listen, man. Look, man. We already knew this was going to happen. We knew after the divorce settlement. We knew we knew this bitch was going to come out and talk a bunch of shit, blah, 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 blah. Miami J, what are your, and again, we go through this every fucking year, but honestly, I think the NFL is starting to come around and become fatigued with all of these false accusations, because they're not really as severe as we once thought they were, because most of these bitches be lying anyway. What are your thoughts on the Tyreek Hill?
I don't know. He's going through a divorce right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't really care about his personal life. As long as he's not getting in trouble and getting suspended, I don't care. As long as he's on the field, I don't give a damn.
As long as he's on the field every Sunday, I really don't. I really don't care.
Mind you, if he does wrong shit and he goes to jail, as well he should, he's not going to be in the field, so then I'll care.
Well, yes. Well, of course, at that point. And I remember what happened with Aaron Hernandez and all that good stuff. Obviously, this isn't that, but truthfully, I think at this point, it's a big nothing burger. I think this is another bitch just trying to get a bigger payday, and I think the NFL knows that.
It is. But if you look back at the last season and, even through this offseason, we're not hearing it every single fucking week like we were 3 years ago.
No, we're not.
But yeah, the NFL is definitely fatigued with this.
Yeah. I think there are people in those offices that are saying, okay, we can't just take these guys off the field just because of the word of a woman. I think they learned their lesson back in the late 2014, early 2015.
Now, what'll probably happen is that they'll come out and they'll brag about some rookie training program that they have now that suddenly reformed all these people, which it's bullcrap. But it sounds like a good marketing play for the media environment. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right, actually. All right, moving right along, dude. So Christian McCaffrey was the team. Christian McCaffrey had the most touches for the Niners on Sunday. Okay. He was just coming off injury. I think he played 4 games last season. Devin had the incredible misfortune of drafting him number 1 overall. Didn't get any action from him until week 10. George Kittle, I forgot what injury he has. He's out for 3 to 5 weeks. Brock Purdy is questionable, and I've heard that he's been downgraded to doubtful for this weekend's game. I forget, is it another division game? Either way, Mac Jones is in line to get the start. Brock Purdy dealing with a shoulder and a toe. Kyle Shanahan says that the toe is worse than the shoulder, so we'll see what's going on there. If you guys remember, last year, the 49ers were absolutely decimated with injuries. Everybody missed time. McCaffrey, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk. He tore his ACL. He tore his ACL. Debo Samuel was hurt. They trade Debo Samuel to the Washington Commanders. Brandon Ayuk. I don't even. Is he even playing right now? I'm assuming he's healed up from his ACL injury. Jay Blaze, what are your thoughts on the injury bug getting the Niners again early in the season?
This is the old team, and they're past their Super Bowl window. And you know who I blame for this? I blame them trading those 3 picks for what's his name? That quarterback, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
They traded those 3 picks that you could have helped, soften the landing for these players because, dude, they're all like in their early 30s, and it's rough when you miss your Super Bowl window. But I think they lost it.
Yeah, I think they did too. Miami, what are your thoughts? Do you think the Niners Super Bowl window is still open or is it closed?
I think it's closing rapidly fast.
Yeah.
If they get hit with injuries like they did last year, I think it's over. They're gonna have to have a fire sale. I mean, hell, what do you even say to that? It's unfortunate because it's a great team. It's very well put together.
It really is, man.
They got Joey or Nick Bosa. I forgot which one.
It's Nick
over there. They have the names. They have the coaching. They have everything set up there, but they just keep getting hit with injuries. It's not even like they're losing through penalties or anything like that. It's
just missing players, man.
Yeah,
it's just bad luck. I agree with Jay Blaze, man. I think that the Super Bowl window is effectively closed for San Francisco. I think their Super Bowl window was opened the year Hassan Reddick took out Brock Purdy in the NFC title game. And then the very next year when they got back to the Super Bowl and ended up losing again to Kansas City, that is when, to me, that's when the Super Bowl window closed. Even still, they still had one of the best rosters in the league. Unfortunately, they are the second oldest team in the NFL, second to the Washington Commanders. And of course, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Pro Special says, if the 49ers didn't land Purdy, everyone would be fired over the Trey Lance debacle. Yeah. That I agree with. I totally like that.
They needed to hit on some draft picks late, but they didn't do it. Like the Rams hit on draft picks.
Right.
And that's why they're in the position they're in.
That's right. Yeah, Jared Verse, the other guy, they had two rookies on their defense that were up for defensive player of the year. Michael Lee says, Donovan, I really missed the 1995 49ers. You had Steve Young, Ken Norton Jr., and Garrison Hurst at running back and Deion Sanders. Says, Donovan, do you remember the 95 49ers? I absolutely do. And the 1995 San Francisco 49ers, they were the Legion of Boom before the Legion of Boom. You had Eric Davis, Merton Hanks, Deion Sanders, and Merton Hanks, Eric Davis, Deion Sanders, and Tim McDonald. Okay, that secondary literally carried the 49ers in their Super Bowl 30 victory, or their Super Bowl 29 victory over the then San Diego Chargers. I think they beat them. I think Steve Young had like 6 touchdown passes. But yes, I do remember the 95 Niners. Pro Special says,
that year is the last time the Miami Dolphins went to an AFC Championship game.
Really? 90? Who did they play?
The Chargers.
Oh,
they lost in the last second field goal.
So that must have been. It was Marino still with the. Oh, that must. Yeah. Oh, dude, and they never.
That was his last shot.
Yeah. Oh, fucking Dan Marino went to one Super Bowl in '84. Did not get back. That's how fragile this is, man. This is why you see players sitting on the bench with the other team's confetti, falling down on them because they're just like, we might never get back here again.
Am I ever going to be here again? That's exactly what they're asking themselves.
Speaking of the Dolphins, oh boy. So the Dolphins got dump trucked on the road. Wait, was it? It was in Indianapolis. They were defeated by a comeback player of the year, Daniel Indiana Jones. They just got absolutely ran out of the building. Tyreek Hill is frustrated on the sidelines. Jalen Waddle was non-existent. I don't know what happened to their running game. Mike McDonald does not really seem to have any answers. Dude, Miami J, what?
do I have to?
Yeah.
Do I have to talk about this? I mean, Jesus Christ! I didn't want to believe all the media talk of McDaniel has lost the locker room and blah blah blah. But I mean, that was. Dreadful is the word that I would use. I was sitting there and I had Red Zone on one end. I think the Kansas City game was on another, and then the Dolphin game. Jesus Christ, dude! What the hell were we watching?
Oh my God, it was bad. It was bad, dude. Like, dude, Tyreek Hill was almost as bad as Malik Neighbors on the sideline getting frustrated at Russell Wilson, man.
I remember at one point, obviously, we turned the game off. We were just had the Red Zone channel on, And we all cheered when the guy from the Red Zone channel comes on. It will not be a shutout in week 1 because the Dolphins just scored with like 2 minutes left. They didn't score the entire game. That was, and this, mind you, this is the same team with the same aura, with the same swagger of the team that put up 70 upon Denver.
Woo!
3 years ago. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
Havoc Pleasant says they are bad like the Panthers. Jay Blaze, agree or disagree?
So I'm going to bring this back to feminism where, dude, it is fine doing the whole sexual revolution thing when everything is set up. This just shows you how set up Flores left the organization because they actually had discipline, and Mike McDaniel took 3 years to erode it. Wow. And he should have never been a coach. They wanted another guy, and they chose the minority hire from San Fran. I don't think he ever called a play. And, dude, he's this little autistic, geeky guy that, dude, he's an analytics, like, wet dream for the owners. And he has no man to him, and so no one respects him.
No.
I got it. I know who I'm blaming for this whole debacle.
Okay.
I'm blaming Sean McVay. I'm blaming Sean McVay. Before Sean McVay came on the scene and revolutionized the Rams, we used to talk about the coaching carousel, and like all these coaches would just essentially trade jobs.
Right.
Ever since Sean McVay came on the scene, every single GM and every single owner just hires some young punk out of somewhere trying to find the next offensive genius. Can we stop it? Can we get a serious person into a coaching job? At least here in Miami.
I remember after Sean McVay made his first Super Bowl, like all NFL GMs and scouts, you know, they were looking for anyone who ever had like a cup of coffee with Sean McVay. You had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay? You're on his bike trail? All right, cool. You know, welcome to
That's when we got Cliff Kingsbury out in Arizona. Right. You know, we started getting all these like 30-something coaches that supposedly were offensive geniuses, and none of them except Sean McVay succeeded.
Sure. Well, if you remember, there was that famous, probably the best quarterback coaching room of all time in 2012, or the Robert Griffin III. Kyle Shanahan was in that room. Who else? Dude, Mike McDaniel was in that room. Sean McVay was in that room. Yep. I think there was one other I think there might have been one other person, but and whoever that was is a head coach now. That was an unbelievable, quarterback coaching room. I think Mike McDaniel will never be without a job. I think eventually, maybe when he's a little older and a little more seasoned, maybe he gets a chance at another job. But I think Mike McDaniel is probably going to be one of those lifetime offensive coordinators because the guy knows offense. He knows offense. If he
I don't disagree,
offense,
but
I think he's fine.
What baffles me is that you have these NFL GMs getting paid millions upon millions of dollars to literally sit in a room and figure out who the best person for the job is. And all they're looking at is how good they are at calling plays or coaching up one guy, one quarterback, because they had one success. I mean, by this point, 40 years into the modern NFL, or whatever you want to call it, you would think there would be a formula somewhere that a GM could just look up and say, okay, this guy meets all these criteria, and figure out what those criteria are. We just find out every time. We $1 million, we wait for getting 2 years.
Right.
Or 3 years in this case.
So Jay Blaze, I'm sorry, Jay Blaze, how many so what does Mike McDaniel's record have to be in Miami for him to keep his job?
He's not going to, but I think like head coaching is supposed to be like getting a culture together. Like Dan Campbell got a culture together in the Lions, and he clearly doesn't know offense the way Ben Johnson knows, but he hired those guys and he did well hiring them. Right. And dude, sometimes it's all about like making schedules and building a culture. Mike McDaniel cannot do that.
No,
dude, no one respects him. And he's fine as an offensive coordinator or a quarterback coach, where he's just scheming up plays for the quarterback. But you need a disciplinarian, and he doesn't do that.
You know what I think the best place for Mike McDaniel is? I think he needs to go to Detroit. I think he needs to be Dan Campbell's offensive coordinator. Because clearly the offensive coordinator for the Lions was the guy in the building. I think it's Johnny Morton. I actually remember when Johnny Morton used to be one of my brother's favorite players. Him, Herman Moore, Barry Sanders, oh my God, Wayne Fonts, that whole crew. But I think the best place for Mike McDaniel is probably Detroit. I think if he goes to Detroit, I think he'll resurrect his career. He's got all the talent there. Jared Goff, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sonic and Knuckles, et cetera, et cetera. I think if Mike McDaniel is going to keep his job, he's got to win 10 games. He's got to go 10-7. Maybe he keeps his job at 9-8 if they surge at the end. That's probably doubtful. Miami J, what do you think McDaniel's record has to be for you to justify him keeping his job in Miami?
I don't think the record matters, and I'm not speaking just for myself. I'm speaking for most people and most Dolphins fans. That we are, for Mike McDaniel to keep his job, I think he's got to win a playoff game.
Woo! Wow. Okay. All right. I think he does too.
Look, if Miami makes this push again to try and get into the playoffs, and they barely make the wild card again, and they go out in the wild card again and get beat up by, I don't know, by
Pittsburgh or
whoever, it doesn't matter. It's going to be the same old thing. And this was a 3-year. Mike McDaniel's got to win the playoff game for him to get his job.
All right. Very good. Yeah, I think I'm going to change my answer. I think he's got to go 10-7. And I think he's got to win a playoff game. But I think at the end of the day, I think Mike McDaniel will eventually land on his feet because, of course, we all know. And listen, it hasn't been a complete disaster in Miami. When he first got there, they were pretty good. But like Jay Blaze said, I think that was more of a byproduct of the residue of discipline that Brian Flores left there in Miami. Clearly, that has all been wiped away.
And
all right, go ahead.
I will say there was an option where you fire McDaniel and you hire Jay Gruden to finish the year.
Okay.
Jay Gruden's a competent head coach.
Sure.
But how attractive is this job? You have Tua who can't throw a lick. Tyreek's going to request a trade. The place is a dumpster fire.
Yeah. The defense is overpaid.
That's the problem. I think a lot of the cracks are starting to show, and a lot of the cover-up jobs are starting to show. Yeah. I think, honestly, looking at Miami now and thinking back, I think Miami's been a shit show since fucking Don Shula or Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
You think so?
I can't think of the one good season I can think of that Miami had was the Tony Sperano season where they rolled out the Wildcat.
Chad Pennington, and that's the year that Brady was hurt. That's the year that Brady got hurt in 2008, and the Dolphins. Yeah, and then Chad Pennington with the Dolphins came in and won the division. Yeah,
I sat him that day.
Yeah.
Other than that, look,
I sat Ronnie Brown.
Go ahead.
Even going back to the Jimmy Johnson days, honestly, Jimmy Johnson never really had a good year with Miami.
Nope. Neither did Nick Saban.
So we're going back to Don Shula.
Don
Shula in the mid-90s. It's been 30 years since Miami was successful. We sit here, we talk a lot about organizations that are just run like crap. Let's man.
Wow, are we putting Miami in that? Oh, wow, we're going to put Miami in what? The Chicago Bears up until recently, the Cleveland Browns,
the Cowboys, the Jets.
The Jets.
I'm starting to. We have the pool that, we're the city of Miami, and every young man wants to come down here to party.
A free agent
so we can attract talent. Yeah, we can attract talent. That's probably what keeps us afloat.
Huh. Because, dude, if I were a young hotshot cornerback or wide receiver, I would definitely want to be in Miami, man. Dude, the fucking girls, the cars, and the fucking food. You kidding me? The weather?
Exactly. Miami's got everything to be, Titletown, USA, like they used to call Boston or whatever.
They need
apparently not in football. If you play hockey, you play baseball, baseball, whatever. The Marlins suck. But if you play hockey or basketball, sure.
There is no reason that in the era of free agency, the Green Bay Packers have a better roster than the Miami Dolphins. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
Buffalo Bills.
Or the Buffalo, dude. Dude, these are miserable places to live in the wintertime. I don't know. If
you think about it, you're a young, rich man. What besides take the team out of the equation? What attracts you about Buffalo, New York, or Green Bay, Wisconsin?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Nothing at all. And honestly, no one would know who Green Bay, no one would know where Green Bay was if not for the Packers.
Same with Buffalo.
They were the
they got Niagara Falls, but
that's true.
Ownership does matter because Jerry Jones, terrible owner, and his team's a train wreck. The Dolphins, terrible owner. Panthers, terrible owner, and ownership matters.
Oh boy. Pro Special says McDaniel is out in 2 weeks after the Bills put a 60 burger on us. God damn.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Oh wow, both of you guys. Okay, well, damn. I guess
I'll second that.
Dude, I think I didn't watch the Dolphins game. Maybe I don't. I don't know how bad they are. Man.
They made Daniel Jones look like an MVP.
Yo, when Daniel Jones has a good day against you, there's problems.
Donovan, we sat here on draft night, and I was shocked when they didn't pick Tyler Warren. Shocked.
Oh my god, that was fucking crazy.
Tyler Warren had like 5 catches in the first quarter.
You're fucking amazing.
Yeah, he was incredible. Like, dude, I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up, and we haven't even started talking about U.S. soccer. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a weekend!
Oh my god, just a bad.
And the Bears skipped on him.
Yeah, well, they took Colston Loveland. Guys, I have breaking news. This is via Adam Schefter of ESPN. The NFL is going to fine Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter $57,222 for spitting on Dak Prescott. The league also says that the game he was ejected for will serve as the 1-game suspension. Woohoo!
Yep.
But Carter will play Sunday versus the Chiefs. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Dude. We are going to absolutely dump truck those boys. Okay, let's move on because I'm all giddy now. That literally just came across the wire. Listen, man, last night's Monday Night Football game was a tale of two halves. I remember watching it early. I remember thinking after the first quarter, holy shit, Caleb might be the guy. Like, you saw immediately the impact that Ben Johnson had on Caleb Williams. He was sharp. He was quick. He was decisive. I don't think he took any sacks. He took advantage of his mobility. Then after the first 15 scripted plays and halftime, the wheels fell off. Enter J.J. McCarthy, who probably had the worst 3 quarters of his football playing career to that point, managed to get it all together. Now, I think we have to give J.J. McCarthy a little bit of credit. We have to understand he hasn't played competitive football in almost 2 years. And so it was going to take him a quarter or 2, or in this case, or 3, to shake off the rust. But once he did, he was as sharp as a tack, led the comeback win against the Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams looking on the other side. Jay Blaze, is J.J. McCarthy the guy just based on last night's game?
There's a dog in him, and I like that.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a winner. Like, he might not be the greatest quarterback of all time, but he just has winning intangibles. And the dude, you stunk it up for 3 quarters, and then you save the game at the end, dude. Then that locker room is gonna die for you. So I like it.
I think one thing before I go to Miami J with this, Troy Aikman said the players in that huddle, they're going to look at him differently at practice this week. And I wholeheartely agree. Yeah. To be able to take a beating like that and to be able to put that out of your mind, even struggle in the third quarter to come back to lead, a comeback to win his first NFL start on Monday Night Football on the road, to me, that clearly tells me he's the guy. What are your thoughts, Miami J?
Yeah, look, I was the first one to question the Vikings organization when they let Sam Darnold go after he had a fantastic season, but J.J. McCarthy proved me wrong. I thought he was fantastic, especially in the end. Like you said it, after he shook off the rust, he was fine. And I think he's going to have a great year. You know? Yeah,
and listen, he's got a great running back tandem in Aaron Jones and
great wideouts.
Jordan, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, obviously TJ Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends in the league. Another, obviously another Iowa guy. Yeah, I think JJ McCarthy is definitely the deal. And just like you said, Jay Blaze, he doesn't have the strongest arm. He can run, but I think he has a lot in common with Jalen Hurts in that he might not have all of the physical gifts, but for whatever reason, he always finds a way to win. He did it at Michigan, and he just did it here in Minnesota. So I think the future is bright for JJ.
And I will say, their quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, always fell apart late in games.
Yep.
And Sam Darnold, dude, he's constantly falling apart. Dude, JJ McCarthy, if that's anyone, if those are any of the other two quarterbacks in the fourth quarter, they lose that game.
Yeah, they'd have folded. They would have folded. Absolutely. Yeah. I think JJ McCarthy showed us I think he showed us I remember a lot of the GMs said, passing up on Tom Brady 7 times, he said we should have opened up his chest and taken a look in there, and then maybe we would have drafted him higher. I think the world got to see what was behind the rib cage of JJ McCarthy. The kid plays with heart. He's up there chest bumping with defensive players and he has a lot in common with Brock Purdy in that. And I remember Trent Williams. I remember when Brock came in after whoever got hurt. It might have been Jimmy Garoppolo. He said as soon as Brock Purdy came into the huddle, Trent Williams, veteran, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best left tackles ever, they said we liked him immediately. I think the Vikings like JJ McCarthy immediately.
Yeah.
And he doesn't paint his fingernails.
Oh my God. Did you see him at the fucking press conference afterwards? What, dude?
And you can just see Ben Johnson just shake his head, just going, "Oh my!" Ben Johnson hates inaccuracy. This is why Jared Goff was a great quarterback for him.
Yes.
And this is why Mac Jones is going to work with the 49ers because they're highly accurate. He works with Shanahan so well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And also, Jared Goff is a rhythm passer, which is right up Ben Johnson's alley. Speaking of which, I guess we'll seamlessly transition to, did Caleb impress in the loss? So Caleb had a good quarter and a half. And to that point, and I saw a lot of people play their best games as a pro. Justin Fields is one of them. We'll talk about that later. I was on my way to saying, hey, you know what? Caleb Williams might be in the middle of playing his best game as a pro. Obviously, the wheels fell off. Miami J, what are your thoughts on Caleb Williams' performance?
So I don't think it was exemplary. I've said it a million times. I think Caleb Williams is a bust. However, for this loss, I'm not sure I blame him completely.
Okay.
I think it's on Ben Johnson. And who's the offensive coordinator down there in Chicago right now?
It's Ben Johnson. He's the offensive coordinator. There is no offense. He's the head coach.
Okay, so then I'm blaming Ben Johnson. One thing I noticed, so you're installing a new offense. Most of your offensive personnel is new to you.
Right.
You have a young quarterback. You don't really have a strong running back that you can, lean on and build rhythm with.
Sure.
So why is it taking you so long to get up to the line of scrimmage every single play? They didn't get up to the line of scrimmage with less than 10 seconds. I don't think once.
That was frustrating to me, and I don't give a shit about the Bears. That was crazy.
I don't know why. You got to give this kid Caleb Williams, who Blaze has said it time and again, can't read defenses, as much time as possible to read the defense.
Right.
Snap. And you're just not giving it to them. They're getting up there and they're snapping the ball. Not because they want to, but because the clock is forcing them to. What the hell is taking them so long in the huddle? Why is it taking them so long to get out the play? That's on the coaching. That's not on Caleb Williams. I'm
going to play you guys a snippet from the herd yesterday. I'm just going to put it up to the microphone. I actually put it in our group chat. This is just listen. Wait.
Is that or is it just he came with attitude day one?
Well, thanks for having me, Colin. And I think you nailed it. I think that roles were really reversed in this case. The Chicago Bears were not interviewing Caleb Williams to be their quarterback, to be their selection number 1 overall. After talking to coaches and scouts and personnel men and GMs across the NFL, they made a picture in our series where really the Bears are in full-fledged recruiting mode. They're trying to convince the first NL superstar to play for them. And look, justifiably so, we get into the dysfunction there in Chicago. It was very deep-rooted, like you said. But I think that it really did sift out of the football field early. OTAs, training camp. You got a guy like John Jaxson III, who was told really is the business speed in the NFL by chance. But that's Caleb Williams' best friend, so he's on the practice squad. He wants to change the cadence, so they go to a basic ready, set, go. They eliminate reps, they eliminate audibles. They kind of try to make this thing as Caleb-friendly as possible. And it's a tough middle ground because you got to tailor an offense to your talented quarterback. But at the same time, there has to be some type of coaching, some type of authority. And I talked to
Well, there you go. And so, and this is interesting. I got to give credit to Miami J because he called this. We didn't hear anything about his attitude problem or anything at Oklahoma or USC. But Miami J paid very close attention to this guy's antics off the field, the painting of the fingernails, crying with his mom, making demands with his dad, et cetera, et cetera. And Miami J, you said that Caleb Williams is going to be a bust, and it has nothing to do with anything from the neck down. It's all from the neck up. So, yeah. I mean, so at this point, this is almost like an I told you so. What are your thoughts so far about the jury being out on Caleb Williams?
I told you so.
Yep, there it is.
What else am I going to say? I mean, this guy just doesn't have it. I'm sorry. It goes back to Ryan Leaf. He was a prototypical quarterback.
Yes.
Had the height, had the strength, had everything.
All of it.
Didn't have it up here, man. If you don't have it up here, and it will show during college.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying I called Ryan Leaf being a bust. I don't know, 17 years old, I think, when that happened.
Sure.
But, obviously Caleb Williams doesn't have it. Never had it.
And take a look at Jaden Daniels. Dude, the entire Redskins locker room loves him. Like, the coaching staff love him.
I like him, and he plays for fucking Washington.
Yeah. And you know what? You don't have to look that far. You
don't like him, though, is that his mother kind of cock-blocked him on a WNBA player, but she probably did him a favor.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, and what WNBA player was that? Please don't say Dejanay Carrington.
It was the one that got an ACL injury.
Cameron Brink.
Yeah, I think that was her. Because she was shitting with Jaden, and the mother's like, yeah, this is not happening.
Damn, mom cockblocked. Oh, you want to know why mom cockblocked her, though, right?
Yeah.
I knew what was up.
She's a white girl. That's why. That's all. That's all. She was a white girl. Yeah, dude, Cameron Brink is dude, she is the hottest, tallest chick I think I've ever seen. She's bad. Like, she's almost like Elena Della Don bad. Like, and I think Jimmy Butler tried to holler at her too. So I don't know. He might have tapped.
This is why the Bears should have fired Ryan Poles. Dude, he cannot.
Yes.
He's a horrible GM. Dude, I think he's the one that whiffed on
Trubisky.
Yep. And why would you let him go on? Like,
I don't understand. He was
dead set on Caleb Williams. No one could have said anything against it. And I'm just like, how? Like, you had the Redskins brought in all the QBs for like a mini golf to see how they interact with each other. And dude, Jaden was just exemplary.
Yeah.
By the way, Christopher Williams, and Captain Stransky made a correction. It was actually Juju Watkins. I did not know it was Juju Watkins. Yeah. Juju Watkins is going now. Juju Watkins, that is going to be the Caitlin Clark rival, because that bitch can fucking ball. That bitch can fucking ball. And she did tear her ACL last year, along with Cameron Brink. Okay, well, there we go. All right. Well,
and if Juju Watkins got with Jaden Daniels, that would have helped her immensely, and the WNBA.
Just real quick as we wrap this thing up. Here is the ultimate baby, and maybe we've talked about this before. Can you imagine if Simone Biles had a child with Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Like, bruh. Like, dude.
All the medals.
The kid would come out of the womb running a sub-9 100. The kid comes out running the kid comes out running a 4.140. Like, dude, Simone Biles is literally muscle. Tyreek Hill, literally muscle. Can you imagine? Anyway, just Super Saiyan baby. Yeah, Super Saiyan baby. Okay, we're gonna round third and head for home. We are now going to do the the Sharp Power Rankings. The Sharp Power Rankings, according to your boy. These are the top 10 teams. According to Donovan Sharp, I'm going to give you guys my top 10 teams and why, and I will get your thoughts, and then we will wrap this puppy up. Coming in at number 10, you got it, the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, and I'll be honest with you guys, the only reason why it's the Chiefs and not the Raiders is because Brock Bowers is hurt. Now, Brock Bowers has a little extra time because I think the Raiders play on Monday Night Football. The Chiefs are not a very good football team. This is a Lifetime Achievement Award that I'm putting this up here for them. I have respect for Mahomes. I have respect for Andy Reid. Did great things in Philadelphia. Love Travis Kelce, future Hall of Famer. future Hall of Famer, et cetera, et cetera. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not. Listen, the only reason why they're at number 10 is because Brock Bowers is hurt. They got outplayed. They were outplayed on Sunday by the Vegas Raiders, who didn't even play them. Number 9, I got the Indianapolis Colts. Look, man, hey, the Colts, they got some players, man. Jonathan Taylor is their running back. He's a stud. He is absolutely a stud running back. They've got talented wideouts, Michael Pittman Jr., et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, they've got the all-world tight end Tyler Warren and Danny Dimes. I'm going to nickname Danny Dimes. I'm going to nickname him Indiana Jones. I think I'm going to Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. Number 8, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, the New York Jets moved the ball up and down against the Steelers, but when push came to shove, that Steelers defense, they held strong. They gave up 31 or 32 to the New York Jets. But now I think, and let me ask you guys this real quick. The Steelers actually looked pretty good on Sunday. I think they make the playoffs, and I think they can probably win a playoff game. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay.
If Rodgers stays healthy, I agree.
Okay, right. Okay, Rodgers outstanding. Gotcha. Number 7, the number 7 team on the list is the LA Rams. Okay, look, they struggled a little bit against CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans, but they did get the win. A lot of people pick them along with the Green Bay Packers to challenge the Eagles in the NFC. I don't see any reason. And again, week 1's a liar. Go ahead, Jay Blaze.
Did you see the woman that got absolutely knocked out in that in the stands during that game?
Oh, she had blood on her face or something, right? Yeah.
She was fighting another woman and she got wrecked.
Oh my dude, I might have to break that down on Rumble. On Rumble. That sounds like all kinds of fun. So I've got the Rams at number 7. At number 6, the Washington Commanders. Okay. They kind of sort of blew out the Giants. We knew the Giants were a bad team. The Commanders are stacked. They've got a superstar rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels. He's going to be a problem for the next decade and a half. They've got Deebo Samuel. They paid Terry McLaurin. They've got Bobby Wagner. They signed Laramie Tunsil. They have upgraded. Listen, they're the oldest team in the league, but they're also one of the most stacked rosters in the league. And they're doing it. They're taking that formula, get a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal, surround him with talent, and go in a Super Bowl. Number 5. Ooh, wait a minute. That's the wrong way. Number 5. I got the LA Chargers, man. Look, dude, they put it on. They absolutely put it on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are no match for them. I think this is going to be a breakout year for Justin Herbert. And you heard it here first. Justin Herbert is going to be in the conversation for most valuable player. I love the two-headed monster they have at running back with Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris. I think they're both going to be contributors. All of a sudden, Quentin Johnston knows how to catch the football. Lad fucking McConkey. Nobody can cover that kid. Nobody covers Lad McConkey. The dude, white boy number 15 in powder blue. He's running all over the field. He's like a rich man's Wes Welker. He's one of my low-key favorite players in the league because of his funny name. Number 4, I've got the Baltimore Ravens. Look, man, they dominated the Bills for 3 15/16 of a quarter. Okay. Josh Allen put on the cape, got him the W. There's no way that the Baltimore Ravens, after that loss to Buffalo, there's no way I'm taking them out of the top 4. I still think they're the team to beat in the AFC. Number 3, I've got the Buffalo Bills who beat the Baltimore Ravens, and I think the Bills and the Ravens are going to be in a fight for the 1 seed all season long. It's going to be 1-2 switching back and forth. I don't think it's going to be particularly close. Maybe LA or Denver maybe challenges, but I think Baltimore and Buffalo pull away. The number 2 team in the NFL is my Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, listen, man, we're the defending Super Bowl champion. And the reason I don't have them at number 1 is because Green Bay looked better against Detroit than Philadelphia looked against Dallas. Now, if Green Bay were to play Philly, I would probably take Philadelphia, depending upon where the game is. So that is my top 10. Number 1, the Packers. 2, Eagles. We got Bills, Ravens, Chargers, Commanders / Redskins, Rams, Steelers, Colts, and Chiefs. Miami J, what are your thoughts on this?
I do agree with your top 5. Definitely do.
Okay.
I would probably rank the Ravens at 3, maybe the Bills at 4, but they're honestly they're interchangeable.
Yeah. Pick
I guess the Bills did win the game, so I guess
sure,
deservedly they should be over the Ravens. My issue would be, mind you, week 1 power rankings. Yes, we're basing them off of week 1. but
Sure.
also a lot of the preseason hype and a lot of what we've
Right.
seen through in preseason.
And
So
last
for me, and last year, for me, I would take out the Kansas City Chiefs, move Steelers and Colts down 1, and I would plug the Bengals in at number 8. That's it.
they did get the win, didn't they?
Yeah, it wasn't a convincing win, but I still think they have the at least the offensive firepower on the roster to make a deep run.
They got the W, man. And listen, we all know the Bengals are notoriously they always have these notoriously bad starts, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 4.
And I will say,
They're 1-0.
sorry, speaking of that game, you got to give Miles Garrett his flowers.
Woo!
That guy,
That
is a
dude.
beast.
Dude, that dude, man. Oh my god, dude, that
There was a point. He got 3 sacks in 3 straight plays.
yeah, you texted. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it
They
was
didn't give him
crazy.
credit for the 3rd sack.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Unbelievable. Yeah, dude, Miles Garrett is as unstoppable as
Aaron Donald was in his prime.
yeah, that's the only guy I can think of. Aaron Donald, Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, et cetera, et cetera. Any other disagreements on my top 10?
I would say I would put the Vikings at 10 and the Bengals at 9. That's just the
All
only
right.
thing.
Okay, so you take out Kansas City and Indianapolis.
Yeah, because Indianapolis played the Dolphins, and
I
it's
can
not very
second that.
impressive.
Actually, I can second that.
Yeah, it's not very impressive. And the Chiefs, I think the Vikings have a lot more. The Bengals and Vikings are going to be in the mix later on, but I don't see that with the Chiefs.
I'll tell you another team that impressed me, and mind you, we say week 1's a liar, but we were all very high on the Patriots, and the Raiders went down there and they put the hammer down.
Dude, they curb stomped those boys. Dude, Gino lit them up.
Yeah, he did.
I think that was a revenge game against
It very
McDaniel.
well might have been,
I agree.
But if it's any indication of what the Raiders can do, damn.
AFC West is going to be good this year, man. They really are. And no, by the way, when's the last time we could say Kansas City is the only winless team in their division?
Yeah.
Everybody else won in the AFC West except for the Chiefs. I think
that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though, right? They've built up so much equity that we still have them in our top 10.
We still have them in the top 10. Kansas City is not one of the 10 best teams in football. They weren't one of the 4 best teams in the conference title games. And I told everybody, I said, guys, watch the games. The Kansas City Chiefs are an ordinary football team, and they looked ordinary on Super Bowl
Okay.
Sunday.
How surprising were you that the Broncos looked like absolute dog shit?
I wasn't shocked. I was a little surprised because I thought Bo Nix would pick up where he left off. But just like he said, so Miami J said, it's week 1. Week 1 could probably be a liar. Probably got to work the kinks out. Hey, they got the W, right? I mean, listen, they're going to be games that you win that you shouldn't. They're going to be games that you lose that shouldn't. Let me ask you guys one last question before we go. Let me put these up here. This is going to be a very interesting question. Who was the worst team that won and the best team that lost? I think we all know that the best team that lost is probably the Baltimore Ravens. Who is the worst team that got a W over the weekend?
Ooh, let me see here. Hang on.
Could be the Colts. Could be the Steelers.
Possibly.
Cardinals.
Jaguars.
Yeah,
Cardinals or Jaguars.
Yep. Oh, wow. The
Jaguars got to win. I forgot about that.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm still waiting for Travis Hunter to be suspended because Liana is going to accuse him of something.
Yeah, honestly, look at that. We got 2 toilet bowls in week 1. We got Cardinals, Saints, and then Jaguars, Panthers. So if we take those teams out of the equation, the worst team that probably got a win was probably the Buccaneers.
Wow, a lot of people are picking the Buccaneers to win the AFC South.
I got the Falcons. I thought
they're loaded.
Say what you will, they won the game. Yes, fair enough.
They did.
That's why they play him. But I was impressed with Michael Penix Jr., man.
Dude, Michael Penix is the truth. So is that rookie receiver in Tampa, Emeka Egbuka. Holy fucking shit, man. That kid is absolutely the truth. All right, guys, we have run up on our hard out. It is now 1:20 Pacific time, 4:20 Eastern time. Yes, weed is legal in Nevada. I may or may not partake from time to time.
We got to close out with the soccer minute, though.
Yes, the soccer. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! We are going to close up with the soccer minute. Jay Blaze, thanks for stopping in.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping in, man. So yeah, we're gonna go to the soccer minute now. As Jay Blaze makes his exit. All right. So while I pull this up, please, grace us with your thoughts on USA Soccer, the state of USA Soccer. Holy shit! What are we?
All right, so I first want to check Instagram to see if the starting lineup for tonight's game against Japan is out.
Oh,
which is not. It usually comes out about an hour. The game's tonight at 7:30.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back. On Saturday, we played South Korea. And just like I said here, we got demolished. The level between both teams was glaring. South Korea looked sharp. They were playing quick off the ball. Heung-min Son is a freaking superstar. That guy can play.
Oh, yes.
The guy was just all over the place. He was fantastic. And the U.S. looked slow, dejected. Pulisic tried to play hero ball a couple of times, but that never works. They weren't properly set up. I talked the other day about the roster. So Pochettino started Ryan Blackman and Sebastian Berhalter.
Okay.
Not sure why. Blackman was responsible for both goals scored on us. He almost gave up a third.
Oh.
And Berhalter just can't cut it, man. The biggest winner of this whole camp, there were two. The only bright spot we had was Serginho Dest. Thank God that man is back. Okay? Like, seriously. And the second winner was Weston McKennie, who wasn't even there. Because the glaring holes in the midfield without him there are just the depth of midfield that we have. Look, we have very good midfielders. We can build a world-class midfield. We got Johnny Cardoso, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and
right.
And Malik Tillman. All these guys are playing at top clubs in Europe. These guys can be really, really good, but only one of them was there. So what's going on here? We don't know what the hell's going on. Mauricio Pochettino's starting to come up under fire a lot from the media, as I predicted. He would get a much shorter leash than Greg Berhalter ever did. Mind you,
I agree.
A lot of it might be lost in translation or might be made of his own making, because the things this man is saying in press conferences, he thought we apparently dominated the game, which we 100% didn't. That takes me back to when Berhalter, after a loss to Canada, said that was the most dominant loss we've ever had. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Then he's criticizing our culture, our soccer culture, saying that we're not a soccer country and that the fans just look at this for fun. He starts going after the fans.
Well, he's right.
In a way, but this girl that you have on screen right now is going to break it down beautifully.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
Let's watch this.
So the title of this video that Miami J submitted here is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about the U.S. men's national team? Here we go.
Things I'm worried about right now with the U.S. men's national team. First off, do we think anyone has told the staff that the U.S. is hosting the World Cup next year? Mauricio Pochettino said that after he went to the Texas-Ohio State game for opening weekend of college football this season, that he was jealous of the atmospheres for college football games in this country. Yep. Do you know why Texas-Ohio State was that electric? Because the product on the field speaks for itself. I mean, that game itself was horrible on the field, but you're talking about two programs who have historically been really good on the field. Being the product at times has sold itself. The U.S. men's national team has never gotten to that point. Not saying it's never going to happen, but it hasn't gotten to that point yet. The product that we saw against South Korea, I would argue that we don't even have an idea of who's going to be in the starting 11 for the U.S. men's national team. And the World Cup is 9 months away.
That's the problem.
5 spots are truly accounted for. I know that these are September friendlies, but this is the start of a World Cup year. And right now, how the general American population feels about the U.S. men's national team is the complete opposite of how they care about college football. Right now, it is widespread apathy and skepticism. I know tomorrow's game against Japan is just another friendly, but honestly, I think the U.S. has to get a result in order to avoid a full-on pre-World Cup crisis, and I'm not being dramatic. And of course, Japan will be probably the toughest test that the U.S. has faced under Pochettino.
All right,
there are so many.
Okay.
All right, so let me couple things there.
Okay.
One, the most important thing to me is that this girl works for MLS. or works with MLS. She's associated with MLS in some regard.
Oh,
I looked at her profile
okay.
and she's getting some kind of access. So this is almost like she works for U.S. Soccer, and she's this concerned. There's a problem. There's an issue here. And so, the media is starting to turn on him. I think that's a good thing. We need to hold him accountable. Everybody's starting to talk about him being replaced. The problem is U.S. Soccer, I don't think they're ever going to replace him, not before the World Cup, because they have to pay him $6 million regardless. And we're still paying off Berhalter, the $2 million.
Oh, that's right. We have to buy him out, right? Yeah.
Right. We have to buy him out. The best case scenario right now is that before October, some team in Europe makes Pochettino an offer. Manchester United, hello.
Right.
Makes him an offer to go coach in Europe, and they buy out his contract here. That'd be the best case scenario right now. Because right now, for him to go right now, we're talking about some kind of rescue mission. And there's only two names that come to mind, by the way, that could perform such a rescue mission. I'll talk about those in a minute.
Okay.
The point is,
I've got an idea.
If Berhalter, I've talked so much crap about Berhalter, I'm getting if Pochettino, look, and most of the media is criticizing him, rightfully so.
Sure.
Japan is, like Captain Stransky says there, Japan is a fantastic team. Japan, we should be on the level of Japan, because Japan soccer didn't really come up until like the 2000s, 2002 World Cup. We had our World Cup. They haven't
been at it for very long.
Exactly. We should be above Japan, but we're not. Because Japan, they've done youth development right. Japan, I honestly believe, as a soccer fan, the first non-European or South American team to win the World Cup will be Japan. I believe.
You think?
I do think that. It won't be this year. It won't be this year or next year. I mean, but okay. Let me get my thoughts back on track here.
Okay.
So yeah, if we don't get it, if Pochettino has been taken at his word that he said October, this is the last camp in September to look at new faces. October, we're calling in the A roster. If that October camp doesn't go really, really well, and we're playing two very tough teams in Uruguay and Ecuador, by the way.
Right.
If that camp doesn't go very, very well, I think the pressure might really mount and something might happen here. He may lose the locker room, I think, at that point. So let's talk about that rescue mission. Who could we get to replace Pochettino this late in the game? Well, there's two people. No, not Jurgen Klinsmann.
Oh!
Actually, it was funny. During the U.S. South Korea, Jurgen Klinsmann was in the stands and he was laughing the entire game.
No, are you serious?
Yeah, they kept showing him on camera. It was fantastic. The two people who could do it was one Bob Bradley, who coached us in 2010.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and the main reason I say Bob Bradley is because these players, they've been told their entire lives that they're the golden generation. They're too entitled at this point. They're too relaxed. The ones that know they're going to be in the team, Pulisic, Adams, Weah, probably McKennie, they're too relaxed. They need somebody to go in there and kick him in the ass. That's Bob Bradley.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, okay.
The second person who could come in and do this would be BJ Callahan. Why BJ Callahan? Look, he was the interim coach while we had the Berhalter investigation saga. And he's been coaching in Nashville. Not necessarily the resume you look for in a national team coach.
Sure.
But this guy knows the player pool. And the best that this team has looked since Greg Berhalter took over almost 7 years ago was the 4 or 5 games we played under BJ Callahan. Because all he did, that was the best this team has looked, was under BJ Callahan. So why not? Bring him in. He knows the players. He knows the system. And let him take a run at it. So, but anyway, that's not going to happen. I think we stop to take that step unless there's mass pressure on them. And they somehow have to find $6 million somewhere to buy that contract out.
Right.
Now, what's at stake, man? 2018, we all freaked out when the U.S. didn't make the World Cup. Okay? Actually, let me address that comment by Pro Special there. Turning around a national team in 9 months is extremely difficult. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But we've seen it done. Okay, Morocco.
Oh.
We played Morocco 3 months before the 2022 World Cup. 1 month later, they fired their head coach. And another coach came in and took him on that run that you went.
They got all the way to the fucking semifinals.
Absolutely. Same thing with South Korea in 2002. They changed their coach last minute, hosting the World Cup, and they made it to the semifinal.
And then they just kicked their ass the other night.
Yeah, they kicked our ass, and Japan's going to do the same tonight. By the way, if
Right.
y'all want to watch it at 7:30 Eastern, it'll be on TNT and HBO Max.
Oh, okay, cool. Give us something to watch.
Mind you, Donovan, this is so concerning because if 2026 goes badly, it's going to be a bigger setback than missing the World Cup in 2018 was.
Oh my God! Oh, you sure about that?
100%, man. 100%. Because
Dude,
U.S.
2018,
soccer,
dude, the sky was falling then, man.
the sky was falling and everybody was out at U.S. soccer. They cleaned house.
Yeah.
Apparently, the cleaning didn't work all that well because
Nope.
we're not looking good. This golden generation is not being brought to fruition. Can you bring up the second thing I showed you?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I think
this
US
is
soccer-
this is on Instagram.
US
Yeah.
Let me set it up. U.S. soccer is absolutely incompetent. Okay. And I just want to don't click the next one yet because that's one I really want to show is the video. Mind you, this was at Red Bull Arena. I think it's Sport Illustrated Park, the game against South Korea.
Okay.
This is in New Jersey. Okay, New Jersey. Mind you, I don't know how many Korean people are in Jersey. Honestly, you wouldn't think that many. It's a 25,000 seat stadium, and U.S. Soccer came out before this game bragging about how it was sold out. We got to sell the crowd finally. Again, play the video if you can.
Okay.
I want to see the sellout crowd. This is during the South Korea national anthem. That's it right there. I don't know if you can hear it.
No! Oh,
The entire crowd.
Oh,
The entire
my
crowd was pro
God.
South Korea.
Oh my God. Oh my!
That's a
And look
home
at all
game.
those empty seats.
That's a 25,000
Oh,
seat stadium. That's not MetLife Stadium or
Bro,
you
we
know,
played
Lambeau Field.
we just played a road game at home, man. Holy shit!
Well, mind you, the U.S. is notorious for doing that. Anytime we play against Mexico in L.A. or whatever, it's more.
Oh
Mexican
yeah,
than
it's
American.
always yeah.
So the U.S. should be used to that. But how are we going to turn the red if we put it on the field? That's what I'm trying to say here. If we're not playing well, if we're not winning, and Mauricio Pochettino, by the way, his record now is 1-7 against top 30 nations. 1-7, Donovan, in the last calendar year.
That's not good at all.
So how do we expect to fill out a stadium? We can't. We're not going to be able to. Now, here's your saving grace. Every national team, right? Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Spain, has their fortress, right? And this is something that the U.S. doesn't have. Every time Mexico plays in Mexico, they play in Mexico City at Azteca Stadium. Brazil always plays at the Maracanã. Spain always plays at the Bernabeu. England always plays at Wembley. You know that's where their fortress is. They're going to pack that stadium with their fans, and it's going to be their way or the highway. We've never had that stadium. The closest thing we've ever had is Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus,
Ohio. We always pack that stadium, and it's always a pro-America crowd. Tonight's game against Japan is in Columbus. I want to see what that crowd looks like so we can really gauge the apathy of the fan base of U.S. soccer because it's at an all-time low right now.
Holy moly.
Dude, Donovan, the sky is falling. The sky is falling.
Holy moly. That is, dude, I cannot believe, like, dude, look at all these empty seats. And you see nothing but red in the, oh my God. I didn't realize.
You do see the American Outlaw section there, and God bless those guys, man. I don't have the energy to do that anymore. I used to do it back in 2014. I was part of the American Outlaws. I would go to the games that I could. It was awesome. But you know what? At that point, we didn't have as talented a roster. But the U.S., and this goes back all the way to the 94 World Cup, all the way up to 2018.
Chicago,
we didn't have as talented a roster, but we had an identity. We knew that we were going to be tough defensively, and we were going to be the toughest team that anybody had ever played, and we were going to beat you on the counter. We were beating teams like Brazil. We beat Italy in Italy. We beat Germany in Germany. We had signature wins. We beat Portugal at a World Cup. We made the quarterfinals and played Germany and almost beat them. What has this golden generation done? Nothing. Not one signature win. To this day, the best game this team has played was a 0-0 draw against England in the World Cup.
And that was a very good game, actually.
It was a very good game, but it was a tie. You didn't even win it.
Right, exactly. I think we ended up losing in PKs, no?
No, that ended up being a tie. That was part of the group stage. But
So that wasn't in the knockout. Who did we end up losing?
that was the one game in the past 5 years that me, as a diehard fan of U.S. soccer, I was glowing after the game. I don't know if you remember the post game we did. I was happy. This team can play with anybody in the world.
Yes, I remember you saying that. Yes.
Yeah. And here we are, almost 4 years later. We lost to Panama 3 straight times. Come on.
Oh my God, dude.
At home.
I remember we were actually watching some of these games. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is bad.
We did those watch-alongs, and I hope we can do them again for the World Cup. But
definitely, man. I've already got things set up. I got things set up with Rumble. I've actually I'm in talks with Rumble to do F1 watch-alongs as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Very cool.
But
that'll
be a lot of.
cool.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fucking awesome. So how long do you think? Let me ask you this. I guess I'll ask you the same question I asked about Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
What does Mauricio Pochettino have to do to keep his job as the bench boss of the U.S. national team?
Win.
Okay.
Just start winning. Start showing the fan base. Because we know after the World Cup, we know Mauricio Pochettino's gone. He's on a year and a half contract for $6 million.
He's a mercenary. We got
it. He's a mercenary. We brought him in after Berhalter. He was supposed to be that rescue mission, but it hasn't really turned out that way. All right now he has to do is win and call in the right roster. People are wondering, why is Berhalter there? Why is Blackman there? Why are we still having a look at Max Arfston? Where, and there's still a lot of people out there saying, oh, he's playing for the chess, sending these players a message that they're not necessarily guaranteed a spot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's backfiring.
I know, and this isn't NFL preseason where you got to whittle down the roster of 85 to 53. You just got to call in the best 23 guys, and we don't have that many best guys. Donovan. The level, the talent drop from our starting 11 to our bench players. Actually, I will say that level of talent, the drop from our top 14 to 15 players to the rest of our players is gigantic.
So we're top heavy.
Yeah, we're extremely top heavy, which is fine. Not every team has the depth that Argentina or Brazil has.
Sure.
But those 14, 15 players should be at every single camp.
Yes.
They should have been at the Gold Cup in the summer.
Right.
Right. You got to get as many reps with these guys as possible. Yeah. And then if you want to call in a Tristan Blackman or a Berhalter with the full squad to see how they can fit in with those guys, that's something different. But there's no excuse to call in a 23-man roster with only 5 players that are potentially going to be at the World Cup and then call Christian Roldan in with your last spot.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
When we know what Christian Roldan offers, and he was awful at the World Cup last time, and we know he's not good enough to make this team, but why are we calling him in? Why are we wasting a spot there? Why didn't we take a look at the promising 18-year-old Noah Kai Banks, and instead we played Blackman with our other – by the way, Blackman got played with the wrong center back. He should have been played with Chris Richards. He got played with Tim Ream.
Why are they not doing like why are they not this it doesn't make any sense that they're not doing this. It's not like there's an alternative that's close to this. It seems that what you're talking about is the one and only solution path to any sort of success, and it's almost like USMNT is doing its level best to go away from that. It doesn't make any sense.
That's the thing. It's got to be on Pochettino, because when people like me agree, and I'll shout out Tactical Manager TV on your channel. He's a great U.S. soccer coverage. But when he agrees with what Alexi Lalas and Landon Donovan and all the MLS shills are saying, you know there's a problem. And this is on Mauricio Pochettino, because it is glaringly obvious that he does not know the player pool as well as he should by now.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
If he knew I think that if he knew the player pool, I think we would probably get better. We'd probably get better results. Do you think we have a chance tonight against Japan, or no?
No, I really. I mean, I'm going to watch the game still. I'm going to root for our boys because Blaze still roots for the Cowboys, and I still root for the Dolphins. And I'm always gonna wear this, even though technically this is the women's crest, not the men's crest. But you know what? Screw it. I'll give you a perfect example of coming in and turning it around at a short time. I think Pro Special mentioned that. Emma was with the national team like a month or two before the Olympics, took a team that was shambles, and in 1 month made them Olympic gold medalists, and now they're the best team in the world. So it can be done.
Wow, it's possible. It's possible, man.
So-
If you
I'll
were
leave it at
if
that,
you
man.
were if you were Mr. USMNT, what would you do right now? If you were Mr. USMNT and money was not an issue, what would you do? Who would you add? Who would you subtract? How would you, in order to, because here's the thing. I think this World Cup is probably the most important World Cup in United States history. And
Absolutely.
we got to have at least a good showing. So what would you do to make sure that we don't get humiliated on our own soil?
So if I was king for a day and money was no object, one, I would have never hired Berhalter,
Sure.
the second time around to begin with. But if I'm
Sure.
in the situation I am today, if the October roster is not what it needs to be, I'm firing Pochettino. I'm bringing in Bob
Okay.
Bradley. I don't care what it costs me, and I'm giving him a clear band-aid. These are your players. Take this team and do the best you can at the World Cup. That's it. That's all that's left to do. And you don't
Okay.
even have to do a lot with these players because DJ Callahan didn't have a lot of time. All he really did was he set them up defensively. He told them where everybody was going to be in their positions, and told them, look, the attacking front, go out and have as much freedom as you need to. Go out there and play. And I will add, to his credit, when Mauricio Pochettino came in his first 2 games against Jamaica, he said himself after the games, which was the best we looked under Pochettino. He said himself, I didn't have a lot of time. I just told them where to line up and told them to go out there and play. And they look great.
Yeah.
So I don't know why now he's trying all these new players and he's trying to joystick the game. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I don't know. It sounds to me like he's almost trying to micromanage things, right? Like if he sees like a bad performance, you saw what happened against South Korea the other night. Maybe he's going to try to, because I think a lot of times what a lot of coaches in all sports do is they really sort of outthink the room. Whereas this guy, DJ Callahan, just came in and said, hey, look, I'm just going to make a few tweaks here and there. We've got the talent.
Yeah.
Offense do this, defense do that. And they looked great.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't know that's what he's trying to do because he doesn't seem that interested. This guy came in his initial press conference and, said, oh, there's no such thing as a friendly. We need to go out there and win every single game.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the other day after the loss, they asked him, when does this team need to start winning? And he kind of laughs off the question and says, well, we need to really start winning when the World Cup gets here.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, what?
Oh, my God.
I know these are friendlies and these games don't count, but
they matter.
They matter because if we go to that World Cup having lost 9 games in a row, what are the players going to feel? Are they going to be confident going into a home World Cup?
I don't know, man.
That's what I'm saying. Something's off here.
You're in trouble.
Something's off here, and I'm really thinking at this point, Mauricio Pochettino's just here to collect the paycheck.
That is unfortunate because we were excited when we hired him.
Yeah.
Like we're like, this.
Yeah.
We had like 3 guys, and he was like, dude, if we get this guy, we're looking good. So it sounds to me
I
like
was over the moon.
has the chops. He's just not doing it.
Well, we know he's got the tactical brain to do it.
Sure,
We know he can take a team through a tournament setting because he took them to the UEFA Champions League final. Everything's there. I don't know what's missing. I honestly think he just doesn't know the player pool well enough in order to call in the proper roster in order to put a cohesive plan together. I think if he gets that down, which supposedly he will in October, according to him,
we'll see.
hopefully we'll be okay. But a lot left to be decided right now.
Yeah. Well, one thing's for certain, I'm definitely going to be going to at least 2 World Cup games. I'm going to try to get to one in Miami for sure. All right, man.
Look, man, hey, the U.S. is playing in L.A. Seattle. I'm going to one in L.A. I would love it if you would come down there too. That'd be great.
Yeah, dude. I'm there.
And
I assumed that USA would be playing in Miami because every time I fly into Miami and I'm driving back to the airport, I see the stadium that they're working on. I see the field that they're working on.
Yeah.
But
that's going to be like a 30,000 seater. That's a 30,000 seater. That's going to be for Inter Miami, who's playing in Fort Lauderdale right now.
Oh, right.
But yeah, man, come on out to LA and maybe I can go up to Philly. There's going to be games in Philly. If the US wins their group, they may play in Philly on the 5th of July on the 250th anniversary.
Oh my God, that would be crazy. Dude, oh my God, dude, I would absolutely go back to Philly. Dude, I'll make a week out of it. Go to the All-Star game and a World Cup game. That'd be fucking crazy.
Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, brother.
And I'll tell you this, if we do go to Philly, it ain't going to look like this. I tell you that right now.
Hell no.
Look, fantastic episode. We covered a lot today. That is going to do it for this Chop Block Sports Talk. Pardon me. We will see you guys next time. Take care.
Later.